Okay. Works. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Oh dear.
This is gonna be fun. All right,
Oh,
so I just need to go into Go 10. This. Edit. Sorry, just gotta update a couple places.
You realize this could go terribly wrong, right?
Yes. I'm putting it on Facebook too, by the way.
Oh shit.
All right. So you can have the seats.
Oh dear.
You're gonna need this. Your channel. Twitch is not working.
Hmm?
Twitch isn't working. Hi, honey. All right, I'm gonna bounce the stream real quick.
My phone says Twitch says you're live.
Yeah, Twitch, but it's throwing an error. That's the problem. Okay. So.
Is this live right now?
It is live.
It is live.
It's been live for the past 5 minutes.
Lovely. Thanks for, letting me know.
Yep. So, my dear, today we are going to be installing a super storage.
Are we getting up on Twitch?
No, I bounced it. I have no idea if it's going to work again, but I don't really care because I get most of my views off YouTube anyway. I might just stop doing Twitch. So, come on. Twitch is a pain in the ass, man. Okay. We're just going to go and do this, and hopefully people pop in. Okay, so, my dear, we are going to be doing an install of a super storage. So you need one of those.
Okay.
There you go.
Hello.
Show it off for the camera and how
There's the
beautiful it
camera.
is. Additionally, you're going to need a SNES, which we have one here. And you need a soldering iron. I'm going to show the desk now. We're going to be using my Weller soldering iron. And we're going to try to use the microscope today to inspect her work when she's done. And you need a screwdriver, Phillips head, a small Phillips head, and you'll need flux, which we have this giant tube of flux from Amtech NC559, which is great stuff. Also, you'll need alcohol, and we have Q-tips when we're done and we need to clean it. So, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to take this apart. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the system itself and put it on its back. And now there's those little feet under there. You'll want to take those out. You can use this spudger if you'd like. They're just like little adhesive pads, so you can just lift them up.
I feel like I'm gonna rip them.
There you go.
Nail works better. Maybe both. Both works well. Ha, got it.
Now you're going to take your screwdriver, and there's 4 screws in each of those holes. The way this one works is that's left, that's right. So that's out, that's in.
Okay. That's right. Okay.
I have a regular screwdriver, so that'd be better for you. Don't lose those screws. Oh, and you'll need a little bit of tape. I forgot about that. Tape. Okay, now I'm going to have you turn the soldering iron on. Make sure it's at around 450, 500 degrees.
On switch? But what's...
So you want to set it to just under 500 degrees there, because that's 50 times 10 in Fahrenheit.
Why don't they just say 500?
Turn on.
On?
Yep. Okay, now, when you put it back on its right side up, and when you take it apart, you're going to lift it up gently, and then kind of rotate it to the left.
Left?
Yep, like that,
Okay.
because there's a cable in here. Now, this person who wants me to do an install for them included, he's got 2 of the Nincades in there. So we're going to have to remove those eventually. But what I want you to do, see that ribbon cable between the 2 pieces there?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of grab it in like where the blue part is on the motherboard.
This one?
Yep, and you're just going to kind of wiggle it out. And to the left, yeah.
This is terrifying.
Fine. If the customer is watching, like if something messes up, oh, I got you, buddy. All right. Now what you're gonna do is there are 5 screws that are holding this board in. there's one in each corner, and then there's one in the back. So you're just going to use the screwdriver and undo them all.
And up is out, right? Yes.
Yes. And all those screws are the same sizes, so don't worry about like mixing them up.
That is wonderful. That makes it easy.
Hopefully it'll cool down up here.
Cool up down here?
Cool up down here.
Okay.
Okay, you got all 5?
Yep.
Okay, so now this is a little tricky because of the way that this is all plugged in.
You can tell by the way it is.
You can tell it is by the way it is. Okay, you can tell it's an Aspen by the way it is. So this cable here and this cable here, see how these route to this front controller port? You want to undo those. So what you're going to do is you're going to put pressure here, and then you're going to kind of like go like this and then kind of twist that cable out. It's going to take a little bit of force. You'll see it start to wiggle. Yeah, you can pull this aside. We don't need this right now.
There it goes. Ha!
There you go.
Got it.
And then you're going to do this one as well. You might not be able to get that out. You might just have to pull it the way it is.
It's hard to get my fingers up here. Got it.
Okay. Now, this whole assembly, the whole circuit board should lift out. So just grab it by the side. Just the whole thing. There you go. Perfect. Now we can set this aside.
Can you see okay?
Yeah, we can adjust this camera since we're going to be doing some soldering now. Whoa.
Uh-oh.
I promise to get a better camera eventually. Okay, and I think it's set on autofocus. Configure video. Yep, okay. Autofocus, auto exposure, that's what we're gonna go with. It's blurry, but it's a webcam, so I apologize. Alright, so next, to make our lives easier, what I want you to do is how you took those connectors out. You're gonna want to do that on these that are on the motherboard as well.
Both sides?
Yep. No, not both sides, just here and here.
Just here?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Two nice little tails.
Now, this shield is just held on by a very like light adhesive kind of. So what you're gonna do is, you know, the fiberglass circuit board underneath and the metal shield, you're gonna grab both of them and
This being the shield?
Yep, that's the shield. You're gonna kind of twist it and then kind of like shift it around, just like that. And then it should come loose if you just give it a little bit of force. Start to peel it kind of away now. There you go, perfect. So that's the thermal pad that was catching there. That's pretty normal. Okay, so that's the circuit board. So we're gonna do some soldering now. The points that we're concerned with are actually on the other side of the board.
This side?
So what I want you to do is I want you to put this board in this vise. So with this, the way that this vise works, it's not like alcohol or weed. It's a different kind of vise. Okay, so the board will fit in here. This is spring loaded. It's just, I'll just tighten it up for you. Okay. So then you're just going to take the board, and this side is going to spring first, so insert that. Just like that. I pull the connectors by the wires too, so that's how it goes. Alright, now I'm going to adjust the focus. On this thing because it doesn't like to focus properly. Okay. So now we're actually going to do the soldering. So take your super storage that came in a little packet there. It comes in 3 parts. One of them is the ribbon cable. The other one is the micro SD card slot, and then the other one is the actual board adapter that we'll be soldering with. This is the board adapter that we'll be soldering on. So I want you to grab that. And then you're going to line it up on these pins here that are labeled as TX, RX, and GND.
So how does this go on there?
So if you look how that's kind of keyed there, you need to rotate it 90 degrees like that.
Oh, okay. I think
Yep.
I see.
Some people have problems with that, but
Like that?
yep. Okay, perfect. So that's how it's gonna go on. I'm going to cut you off a piece of tape, and what I want you to do is tape that board down and have all of the holes lined up as cleanly as possible. Razor blade go. So now this tape isn't very sticky, but it should hold the board in place while we solder. So what you're going to do is you're just going to place that on top and make sure it's taped to both boards. Do it the other way. Yeah, long ways like that.
Even if it's...
Yeah, because we'll be doing some of the points. We'll get those soldered down, and then we'll...
Is that good?
That is perfect, my dear. Just press down, make sure it's secured. Perfect. Okay, now's the fun part.
Oh dear. This is...
So, next we're going to need flux, which is the giant tube of gross looking liquid. And what I want you to do is I want you to put flux in here, okay, where we're going to be soldering. Don't worry about using like too much, too little, or no.
Just put it all in there?
Yeah, just put it in there. It's going to take some pressure to really come out.
I don't want to just squeeze it.
It's fine, and we'll clean it up if we need to. There we go. Yep, that's a good amount. Now we're gonna. I'm just gonna take the tip here and kind of
Put it over that one corner I didn't get.
spread it around in there and everything.
What's this stuff do?
So flux, when you solder, flux will it kind of distributes heat better and will help the solder suck or wick into the places that it can't normally. It's just a better way to transfer heat without being conductive.
Okay.
Electrically conductive. So, we need solder. Where did I put my solder? There it is.
That might be useful.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Okay, so now I want you to take the iron in your right hand because it's your dominant hand.
Correct. Not like stock photos hold it.
Not like how stock photos hold it. Perfect.
Okay.
So, what you're gonna do is I'm gonna use this as a demonstration. We're gonna pull this away for a second.
Probably smart.
So pretend that this is a hole.
Okay.
Okay. This is the edge of the circuit board, the round edge of the circuit board.
Uh-huh.
When you use the iron, I want you to make as much contact with both boards as possible. What can we use? Let's use this wonderful. This is kind of like actual scale too. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna put it here. You're not gonna put it right in the center. You're gonna touch the edge as much as possible and the bottom of the board as much as possible.
Okay.
I usually like to go in with these boards at a pretty steep angle like this instead of going like something like this because you don't get the bottom board all that well. Now if you look at the tip, if you rotate it around a little bit, it's chiseled in one way, just slightly.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that chisel part is like exactly like this, right? You're just going to kind of put it in there like that.
Okay.
And what I don't want you to do when you put it down there, when you're soldering, more force doesn't mean it's going to melt easier. It doesn't mean that it's going to make better contact. You just want to kind of, lightly touch it like you would use a pencil or something like that. And then once you do that, you can take the solder and then put it in. Okay?
Okay.
Now, when you put solder in, you bring these closer together. When you put solder in, you're just going to go like that, but you're going to do it here while you're holding it. So you're going to come in like this. Okay, so if this is our solder, it's going to go in like this. And what that's going to do is it's going to wick into all of those places. Okay? What's up, P-Snap? So now we put some solder on the tip of that thing. Can you just jam it in this thing a couple times, that gold stuff? That just cleans the tip off and gets the excess solder off. Okay. Okay, so time for the real deal, my dear.
Oh dear.
You're fine. This is her first time soldering. Wish her
Anything.
luck.
Ever.
Anything ever.
I'm a designer, guys. I don't do this stuff.
We're gonna get a little bit of light. It's gonna be overexposed for you guys. I apologize. So the first point I'm gonna want you to do is probably that one, top left one, is gonna be most accessible for you.
Okay. So you just go in and touch it there and then touch the solder to it?
Well, do you see? Okay, so you see where this board is and how this sits up a little bit higher. You want to touch this board and you'll see the little silver.
Am I touching the solder at the same time or shortly after?
You put the iron in first and then you apply the solder.
Okay. So we're gonna put the
You're fine.
Can you take the sunglasses off my head?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna smoke a little bit, but that's okay. That's just the
Touch
flux.
that in there. Oh.
Yep. Sorry, this isn't very tight. That is my fault. Okay. I'll hold it in just in case.
Touch that in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then take it away and then put that in, or touch it at the same time?
You're gonna put the iron in. You're gonna hold it, and then you're gonna apply the solder.
So like now?
Do it now. Nope. You want to hold the iron in there longer? Okay. Now a little bit more solder. Keep holding the iron in there. Okay, now take away the solder. What I want you to do is take the iron and hold it in there.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to burn anything because it's not that high of a temperature. So don't apply any more solder to that point.
Just take the iron and hold it in.
Hold it in and push it into that groove as much as possible without applying too much pressure. Okay, now take away. I think you've done it. All right, so now we just got to do that 7 more times.
How do you do this one?
Steady hands, and it. Is this too low for you? Too high? Do you want it higher, lower? I can do
Yeah, a
higher.
little higher. A little more. Thanks. I'm not crouching so much.
Yep.
Do I do the thing to clean it again?
Yeah, you can do that if you want.
Okay.
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 So now
There we go.
we're just gonna do the other points.
Which one would you suggest next? That one or that one?
Usually back to front is usually good.
Okay.
Just like wiping. No, never mind. You don't want back to front.
No, you really don't. Okay. Well, you make.
I'm watching.
Alright, so in with the soldering iron.
Mm-hmm.
And with
And
that.
apply the solder. Okay, that's probably enough solder. Put the iron in for a little bit longer. Okay, now take it away.
And it's
Need-
important to make sure none of them touch, right?
Yeah, but that's usually not an issue with this type of thing. Okay, so now see how... Where's my tweezers? So something just happened, and it's okay.
I made a little spike.
Yeah, that little spike, the little Hershey Kiss, the little chocolate chip. So usually what that means is that there's not enough flux, or heat didn't transfer properly, just in general. So now when you apply, one thing I've noticed is you're kind of holding it gently against it. You can press in, just don't feel like you're scraping something, I guess is the advice that I have. Don't feel like you have to scrape something, just hold it there with some pressure. Okay? You're gonna do that point again, and you're not gonna apply any more solder. Hold there for a couple seconds. Okay, now take it away. Perfect.
Yay.
All right. We're going to do the next 4, and then we're going to take the tape off, apply some flux, and then do the last 2.
Okay.
Oh, it's hot up here. I know you're the one with the soldering iron, but it's hot up here.
Is that enough?
Yep, so what you want, that one has enough solder, but you want to keep it on the heat for a
Keep it
little
longer?
longer. Yeah. Just count to like 3 or 4.
Oh, we got another little Hershey Kiss.
So with that, what happened is you held the soldering iron there, and then you lifted it up, and then you put it down, lifted it up again real quick. That happens when you apply not enough heat for a long enough time. Okay. Yep, perfect.
That's good. That's enough.
Yep. Now clean the tip. And I'll show you why we'll actually kick in the microscope when you're done, and we'll look at the
Okay.
solder points.
Next one.
Next one. Some of those can get a little hard depending on if you're left-handed or right-handed.
Hey.
That looks perfect. You probably want to pull a little bit of solder out.
Oh.
Just so you're not like bumping up against it.
Thanks.
She was doing a great job, guys. I'm mainly using this as a lesson so that people know that they can do it themselves. Give that one a little bit more heat. See how it's a little bulbous? You want it kind of flowing from the bottom of the pad to the board. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. All right. Last one in that group, and then we'll take the tape off and finish it up.
Did I get enough?
I got enough. Hold it there a little bit. Okay, now see the end of your iron here?
Yeah, I got
How it's got that thing? That means that there, like, it didn't transfer from the iron to the board. Here, let's clean that off. I think you applied just a little bit too much. That, I mean, that probably electrically works, but we're just gonna clean it up and make it look nice, like
I'll
you.
just touch it again.
Yep. Okay. That's better. I might use that point as a example of not a perfect point, but a working point.
Okay.
So now that now that all those points are done, this board it won't move.
And we're sure there's enough on that middle left one?
Yeah, I'll show you that too, under the microscope.
Okay.
Okay, so now you want to take a little bit of flux and put it on those last two pins. Flux.
Oh, sorry.
Don't mind chat. Don't read chat.
I was getting distracted. Okay. Thank you.
Nobody's chatting anyway, so it's whatever.
Well, somebody said
Yeah, somebody's being an ass, but
I was told to pull them by the wires.
I told you to pull it by the wires. It's fine with those. It's better than breaking the connector off.
Okay.
Okay, so it's just the same thing with those two. Do the left one first, and I'm going to walk you through the second one, because that one's a little bit harder.
Okay. Do you want to tell me if I got enough on this one? Probably not
Yep,
enough.
that's a
enough?
perfect amount.
Oh, cool.
You don't want too much. You don't want too little, obviously, but you also don't want too much.
Okay.
Okay, so now this one is a ground pad. Okay, now normally that doesn't really make a difference, but on this board, if you were to visualize a circle on this board, right? Imagine you had a piece of aluminum foil.
Okay.
Okay, and you had a piece of paper on that aluminum foil with a circle cut out of it. Okay, now if you try to heat up that aluminum circle, it's going to heat up all of the aluminum underneath, right? That's a lot of aluminum that it has to heat up. Versus if you had to just heat up that one circle. So previously what we were doing, we were just heating up a circle. This one, it's like it's the whole ground plane is what it is.
It's connected to all of these.
So yeah, see this light green,
Mm-hmm.
this whole light green thing all the way through here? That's the ground pad. Now, because if you look at some of these, okay, so if you look at this circle here, okay,
Mm-hmm.
see how this kind of has a little gap between this green and the pad itself?
Mm-hmm.
Just like how this trace here has a little bit of gap. We'll see it better under the microscope. Versus like this. This has no gap between the light green and here, because this light green is basically just like, it's a silk screen on top, essentially. So this one, long story short, this one needs just more heat. Same amount of solder, but it needs to be held there for a bit longer.
Okay. So hold it on for a bit longer before putting the solder on, or after, or both?
Both.
Okay.
Both. We're gonna do a bit more solder. So the same thing. It's the same timing. So just hold it down there for a little bit longer. Don't put the solder in. Then put the solder in, and then hold it for a little bit longer than you normally would. Oops, sorry. Okay, remove. Okay, that's probably okay. We're gonna take a look at it under the microscope. So now, clean. And then you can put it in there. And that's
Should we turn it off?
Nope, it'll stay on for a little bit.
Okay. While we check and make sure everything looks
Yep.
kosher.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna clean it real quick. So grab a few Q-tips out of that box.
Okay.
Now you just press this down and it gets you a little reservoir. Just wet the Q-tip with alcohol, make sure it's soaked. And then you're just gonna clean off the flux.
So I'll just.
Yep. You're gonna have to really kind of scrub it in there.
And that's all cool enough. It's not gonna get.
Yep. No, that's fine. It's cooled down by now. See how that tip is turning green? Now use the other end. And you're going to need to use a couple Q-tips to clean up all that flux. And this is just isopropyl alcohol, like 91% usually works pretty well. I buy it on Amazon. I bought like 6 or 8 bottles or something like that for about 20 bucks. It's Prime shipping. They will deliver it for free, which is pretty nice. Okay, is it the first Q-tip?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Let's start a new one now. You're kind of, if you touch it, it's still kind of sticky, and that's the flux. This is just to remove the bulk of it, and then we'll use a microfiber cloth to kind of wipe it down better.
It's wanting to creep around that little
Yeah.
part here.
That's fine. What we'll do is we'll do.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alcohol is
it
not.
So it's not gonna
Yeah,
damage anything?
it's not conductive. It's not going to hurt anything.
It's wild.
Okay, that's probably good with the Q-tip now. So then you have a microfiber cloth right there. It's probably a little sticky because of all the flux. So all we're going to do is grab a part of it. Okay, I'm just going to wipe this. And just kind of scrub around it, get all the flux off if possible. Okay. All right, let's, I'm going to sit down now, and then I'll show you under the microscope how you did.
Okay.
Sorry, I have another chair up here.
Oh, there's one right here.
Oh yeah, cool. Folding chair, perfect. All right.
I can see better over your head if I'm standing, so.
Well, I can pull up the microscope desk cam. Where's my microscope? Get your output. Okay, let's add microscope. Video capture device. There we go. Yep, okay. Perfect. we're gonna put the logo above. Look at that. By the way, my girlfriend Sierra here, who's doing this install, designed the Echo 10 logo. So, thank you for that, honey.
You're welcome.
Can you take this?
Absolutely.
And that, I'm just gonna pull this around. Alright, so we're gonna take this out of this clamp. This is a new tool I just got, which will be pretty fun to use. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So. Where's my focus? It's actually much clearer if you want to look through it, through the,
Oh, that's incredible.
right? That's why I was so happy last night when I got this.
Yeah, I can see why.
Okay. So I'm going to fix up a couple of these points here. Not that they won't work, they'll all work, it looks like. Where'd my tweezers go? Did I hand you my tweezers?
No.
No? Where did I put those things? Ah, there they are. They fell on the ground. Perfect. Okay. So, mainly, what I'm concerned about, this feels like a dental exam. So this one looks good. I'm going to put just a bit more solder on it. I know you were talking about that. But this one looks good. See how this here, this part here, is the actual, you can kind of see the ring around here and everything. That's the pad on the board. That's like one of these, okay? So that's what actually we soldered to. We were soldering between that pad and this via here, okay? This one looks pretty good. This one looks pretty good. This one's great. This one's the ground one. I'm pretty sure that this will work. We could probably test it and it'll work, but we're just gonna redo it. This one is probably pretty good. This one looks pretty good. This one looks good. So I'm just gonna touch them up basically, because I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah,
But you did a good job, so.
Somebody paid for you to do them, not for me.
So, flux. Where did I put my flux? God, I just had that tube.
But right down there. Down
No, big tube. That's my
Oh.
shitty flux.
there. How did...
Yeah, I know this happens all the time. Oh, here, I put it on top of
There it
the
is.
reflow.
That is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, she did an awesome job for her first time, didn't she? Like, I'm impressed.
You're sweet.
Like, she might be doing the rest of them till the end of time.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Just due to the nature of these boards.
Thanks, Peace Nut. You're nice. I was looking at the comments. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Just due to the nature of how these boards work. Like this is a pretty good, that's a pretty good joint there, just because it float. The big thing is you want to make sure it flows from the bottom to the top. Same thing here. Okay. Make a little bit more flux. Okay, that's good. This is the ground one. This one's always the pain. Actually, what I'm going to do, bump this up a bit. Need a new iron. This thing does not heat up well enough, fast enough. Okay, see that now? How that's flowing from the bottom and the top of this bottom board to the top of this board? That's a good joint now. It's a little hard to see. I'll have you look in the microscope.
Well, also would be good to look with the flux off.
Yeah, for sure. This was like a $300 camera, or a $300 microscope and camera, which is actually pretty cheap for this equipment. So I'm not terribly worried about the quality of it. Okay.
So now you're just removing excess from that point?
Yeah, it's just a little bit, because see how it's kind of, I don't know if you can kind of see it, but I can't, like these, I can see the pads underneath here.
Those have a nice little curve, and you can
This
see
has,
that.
this is more of like a pillow, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'll just remove a little bit more.
And the iron just sort of soaks it back up.
Yep.
That's amazing.
The iron will take a little bit. See that little point there?
Mm-hmm.
It'll take a little bit out, and then you clean it up, and then it's gone. That point's probably good. Yeah, one more time. God, I'm such a freaking perfectionist.
That's not a bad thing.
Okay, that's all that's gonna need for now. I have to turn the microscope. Okay. And then on this last one, on the left, I'm just gonna add a
The left
tiny,
middle.
yeah, here, I'm just gonna add a tiny more solder. Okay, so just so you can see close up what you're doing, see that's the pad there?
Mm-hmm. Which you just put a dot on, but it doesn't look like it's connected.
Right, well, it's not connected right now.
Ah.
So this is not connected.
I was right.
Yep, you were right. You right, you right.
I try to pay attention.
So I'm just gonna apply here.
Mm-hmm.
You can
Oh,
see how
okay,
that's connected now.
Like a nice smooth little path.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Now that's connected and that's perfect. Okay. So yeah, you did a great job for your first time. It's first time soldering ever. The big thing that people do is they usually use too much heat.
And what happens then?
I would show you, but I would be ripping up a pad. I can show you. You want to grab me the SNES right underneath the TV in the back?
This one?
Yeah, we'll take that apart, and I'll show you exactly what happens there. Okay, so we're going to clean this one up real quick, and we'll probably get done with this stream pretty quickly here, because we don't need to show them how to do it, like put it all back together and everything.
Well, I mean, it might be useful.
I've done like 5 of them already, so
Oh, okay.
I stream every time I do a install these days. If you want to see more streams, buy an install. at echo10.io. That's echo10.io. I'm also getting hungry too, so. Microfiber cloth. I'm always usually sitting on my microfiber cloth.
Are you sitting on it? You might.
Nope.
No, I'm not sitting on it.
See, this is what happens. Do you understand now how this works?
No, because I put stuff away.
Oh, you're so smarter than me.
I don't.
It's the gross looking cloth.
Yeah, the gray one. Stand up and scoot back.
I swear, I don't have it on my person.
Are you sure about that? Got it.
Ah, see, I put it there. Because I knew I would forget where it was, so I would put it in a place where I could find it.
That was the least visible spot from your vantage point.
Well, Miss Organized Pants, you should figure out how to help me organize my workspace.
You know, I am more than happy to help with that anytime.
Okay. This will dry up nicely. It looks dirty, but it'll definitely work. Okay. So that's that. Good job, honey.
Good job to you, honey.
So now we're going to take a look at what happens when you screw up. Because I have actually screwed up installs before, believe it or not. The difference is the only time I've ever screwed up was on my system. So I need the screwdriver, which I know where that is.
Hooray!
It's kind of the other reason that I bought this giant screwdriver is because it's very hard to misplace. So many of these damn things.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
I do say it like it's a bad thing. Ah, yep, okay, perfect. So, what happens if you do a bad install is this. That's not visible, so we're going to have to clean that up a little bit. You notice anything distinct?
I see two very round little bulbs and one that looks all fucked on the far right.
That's part of it. Do you notice anything about...
And those, oh, if you, they didn't notice the contacts are missing.
Here?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just black. There's no actual little metal.
Yep. So, again, I'll actually be able to fix these. The camera doesn't show it.
That's pretty clear.
Well, the camera doesn't show the color as well.
It's black.
Yeah. On my screen, or in the eyepieces, it's brown. So what you'll notice is that this is kind of missing. Like this whole part here is missing here. Now, if I were to try to solder this, which you'll see in a second. See how solder doesn't stick here?
Huh.
See that? Versus this. How it's sticking on this point here, but not here.
Yeah.
That's because what happens, I can actually show it. I'll actually do it on this point. We're going to crank the heat up. We're going to go all the way up to 650. This board is a good board. It works fine, but I'm going to destroy it on cam to show you what actually happens when you don't solder this properly. So this is a very small point, and this is a very big tip, and it's set to 650 degrees, which is pretty high. So I'm gonna like destroy this. See this? See that?
Yeah, that's the contact.
That's the contact. That's the foil. So a circuit board is made up of a foil on top that's adhered to a fiberglass substrate, and then it's kind of the same thing on the other side. And then you have this green solder mask on top, which is basically a very thin paint. So you can see, since I applied too much heat to this point, down a little bit. Since I applied too much heat to this point, what I can do with this pad I can just lift that off. Now that's on the bottom. So this point I don't think is actually used for anything, so it's okay that we destroyed it. But if you have done this to your board, you've lifted a pad, that's what it looks like up close. I can actually fix these if you want to contact me and send me your board. If you've done this for other systems, modded other systems, and you've lifted a pad, I can help out, possibly, probably. Shoot me a message on Discord, or you can email me at support@echo10.io. I will help you out. But yeah, that's what lifting a pad looks like. So luckily, Sierra here, when she did the Super Storage install, she didn't lift any pads. Which, you know what? First time I soldered, I lifted a pad. So good job, honey.
Thanks.
And thank you for your help today.
I'm more than happy to help.
I like playing around with this microscope. So, everyone in stream, I'm probably, come on, I need to get new tweezers. Yeah. I'm going to do some more streams. Probably going to do something this weekend. I got my PlayStation Classic. I got my PlayStation Classic eMMC chips in. These guys here. I got these in, so and I had a user on the Mod My Classic Discord, Hat89. He graciously donated a brand new PlayStation Classic for me to tear down and swap chips in. So we're gonna do that, and I'm gonna do that on stream this weekend. And I have the microscope now, so I should be able to see it properly. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark it down. Where I screwed up last time is I didn't mark down where the chip is going to be. So I'm going to use some Kapton tape and kind of put it around the perimeter of the chip, take the chip off, and then put the new one on and line it up properly. So that'll probably be this weekend sometime when we're not going to Summerfest.
Good luck.
Who knows when that's going to be, or I'll do it at night or something like that. So I'm probably only going to stream to YouTube from now on because I've had nothing but problems with Twitch. It might be OBS that's broken, but so you can visit any of the Discords, the Mod My Classic Discord, the you're already on YouTube probably. If you're not on YouTube, check Discord. It's on there. But yeah, you're on YouTube already. So hit the subscribe button, and if you want to know when I go live, click the bell too, and you'll get a notification. Yeah, so I'm looking at increasing the internal storage on the PlayStation Classic. That's the stream that I'll be doing with that. I'll be going from 16 gigs on board that comes stock with the system, and I'll be going to 32 gigs. It's a small step, but once we do that, we can step up and go to like 128 or something like that. And actually do a proper internal storage mod that doesn't include a USB hub and all of that jankiness. So thanks for watching. Thanks to you for doing the install.
I was happy to help.
You did a great job. And then I'll package this up later tonight and get this out to the customer. So thanks for watching, and have a good night.